everybody, it's me again. Wanted to talk today about zebras and spoonies because it took me a while to figure out what the heck that meant, and now that I am officially diagnosed, I thought that I would just explain it to everybody in case you're in the process of being diagnosed and have never heard those two phrases before. So when you have a rare condition, a lot of times you're referred to as a zebra. And the reason for that is that doctors are told in medical school, when you see a symptom or a condition or, something come in, when you hear hoofbeats, think horses, which basically means think of the most generic thing that would make sense. Because usually it's that. That's why it's the generic thing. They're taught not to think about zebras. They're taught not to think about the rare conditions because they're rare, and their doctors can go through their entire career and never have one single EDS client or patient. So they're taught to not waste their time looking for those things, which I understand. That makes sense. But that means that oftentimes we're forgotten or we're dismissed, or doctors don't look at the whole puzzle. They just look at one small thing. For example, for me, a lot of times when I would go to the doctor, the first discussion we had to go through was the fact that I do not have an eating disorder. I am 5'2", I am 38 years old right now, and I weigh 96 pounds. And for most of my life, every time I go to the doctor and they take my height and weight, they want to talk to me about how important it is that I eat and that I not throw up my food and that I am perfectly healthy the way I am and don't need to lose any more weight. And I have to explain to them, I don't have an eating disorder, I'm just not hungry. And when I eat 4 or 5 bites, I feel gross full, so I can't eat anymore. It's not an eating disorder. It's not a choice. It's not something psychological. It's something physical. And come to find out, because I have EDS, I have dysautonomia, which means I have really slow digestion, which means my stomach stays full for a long time, so I don't eat because I'm not hungry yet, because my body's still trying to figure out what to do with my last meal or my meal from yesterday. So it's not an eating disorder, but because they see one symptom and they think of what the most common thing that would cause that symptom would be, they don't look at the grander picture of my joints and my dizziness and my heart problems. They just look how small you are, look how little you weigh, look how low your blood pressure is. You must have an eating disorder. I don't. I don't. I never have. I'm just small. I'm just very petite. So that's the zebra thing. And I love it because once that word started kind of being tossed around in my doctor's appointments and in the groups that I was involved in, you find your herd of zebras, and it's really nice to have that group of people that get where you're coming from. Because I'm pretty sure that horses have no idea what zebras go through. And so it's not that they don't care, it's that they just can't relate. It's like someone not being able to relate to what it's like to have a child until you have a child. You just can't relate on that level because you've never experienced that thing. So finding a community of zebras to be able to figure all this out with and to be able to bounce things off of, people who know where you're coming from, and that don't think you're crazy and that don't think that you're a hypochondriac, is refreshing and so helpful in just processing it all. So I love the whole zebra community. I think that they're just a group of amazing people. And I have seen so many of them, and I am starting my own, being a collector of zebras, stuffed animals, knickknacks, that kinds of things. I ordered an art project that is a zebra art project. It's my very first zebra item, and we'll see how far that goes. But it's fun, and it's nice to have that group that understands, like I said, where you're coming from and what your medical conditions entail. Which brings us to Spoonies, which, at least for me, is more of a management technique, but it also is a community in its own right. If you get diagnosed with like a chronic pain or a chronic fatigue type of condition, you'll get told either by your doctor or a psychiatrist or psychologist or just the groups that you're involved in that you need to limit your energy, which is very important in not pushing yourself too far and having a flare or having to pay for it later. So for me, when I was presented with the idea of spoons, what it is you have to imagine that you have, say, so many spoons a day. Depending on your condition, I've heard anywhere between 5 and 12. But everything that you do during the course of a day costs so many spoons. A shower costs a spoon, making a meal costs a spoon, going to work can cost 2 to 10 spoons. The drive back and forth costs a spoon. If you want to go to dinner, that costs a spoon. And it seems like it's almost limiting what you can do. And a lot of people see it that way as, oh, you're limiting yourself. For me, it's a self-regulation tool. I like to do things, and I like to be busy, and I like to get out of the house and go to festivals and art things, and I like to go do things. And a lot of times I would go do those things after a full day at work, and then I would spend the entire weekend exhausted. So it helps me self-regulate. It helps me to go, okay, I've gotten ready this morning and made dinner and went to work. So I'm already up to 8 spoons. Do I have enough to go out with friends tonight and not pay for it tomorrow and the next day? Sorry, the dog's getting off the couch. So it helps me to not push myself too far. And a lot of people will look at that and go, you're just being lazy, or you're just using your condition as an excuse. See it how you want. You don't know where I'm coming from. And for me, that excuse to you is a stopping point for me, because that point comes before I'm actually tired. So if I wait until I'm actually tired, oh, am I going to have a flare? I'm going to have days of being miserable. I'm going to have so many days of my body feeling like it's got the flu without the flu. I'm going to have the aches and the fatigue because I didn't stop when I should have stopped. So people can take it however they want. I don't care. For me, it's if I want to keep doing what I'm doing, if I want to stay in my career of choice, which is a massage therapist, I have to stop myself from doing too much. So this is what I have to do. And that's my life, and I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with everybody else not being okay with that, because it's not for them, it's for me. But you will also see communities on Facebook and groups or channels on YouTube that are specifically for Spoonies. And there's a lot of really great information in those groups and with those people. So I love that that's a community of its own too. But I hope that explains exactly what those are and what that means, because I kept on going, what's the deal with the spoons? And why is it zebras? It just didn't make sense. Nobody explained it. So I thought that I would jump on and explain it really quick, since it was recent knowledge to me, and I have people following me that are in their own diagnostic journey, so I thought I'd share. Happy to answer any questions as always, but for right now, I will talk to you guys later.